Welcome to Reno Home Tour by Deconstruct, where we share with you real renovation tips and prices so that you neither get scammed nor think that renovation should be super cheap. Okay, so today we are at Tengah. This house has just been renovated, but importantly, what we wanted to show you in this house was one, a Tengah house, because a lot of people got comments about Tengah, right? But two, it's about all the practical and small details that the ID actually made, which made a difference to the homeowner's life. So if you are looking for practical feng shui related stuff, so this is the house for you. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this house was renovated with an estimated cost of about 65,000. The reason for 65,000 was a lot of carpentry and also some remodeling that has to be done because of the defect works and also because of some of the homeowners' needs. Okay, so we start first with the living room, right? So you can see in Tengah, actually there were a lot of wall niches. So meaning that the ID actually used the carpentry to cover over the wall niche. Wall niche 是什么？ Wall niche 就是好像you know somehow old, especially for old resale houses 它有个洞在里面的。So the wall 不是 flat 的这样，它是这样的。So they use the carpentry to cover over. But most importantly, the one we want to show you is this. 是这个门呢。Okay, 来 voila! 麻将机. So whoever who plays mahjong, right? So the owners actually play mahjong quite a fair bit, I think. So they actually, one of their main requirement was for the ID to seamlessly slot in their mahjong table without it taking space. So this mahjong table, by slotting it below, they can take it out whenever they want to play, or if they don't want to play, they put it back in. And this is where the details lie. Because if you want to slot in the mahjong table, right, your bottom cannot have a laminate, meaning you cannot have carpentry. If not, 它麻将机很难上嘛. Compared to other doors, you see 它下面有个板的. So if you got a mahjong table here, it's very hard to go in. So this is one detail that the ID actually did lah. Okay, because the owners have some feng shui requirements. So if you can see for Tengah flats, they got a curb here. So normally the house don't have the curb one. But because their window is also on the opposite side, so from feng shui reason, right, 这样是财进财出，对吗？财进财出. So you need this curb here to stop the 财 from going up. So that's why they have this curb here. Then as you can see, the whole house is actually done using false ceiling lah. False ceiling, if you ask me, 真的是 very underrated. Because you can do many things with false ceiling. 你看它要cut什么 curve 啦，放 LED strip 啦，什么东西哦，它都可以做的。Only because 它有这个 false ceiling and they can hide the cables from there. You see this is the window, that's why just now we say, right, 财进财出. So they need to cover this with that curb right there. Okay, so for feng shui reasons, right, the homeowner also did not install ceiling fans. So you see along the house, right, they only have corner fans to support the ventilation in the house lah. And then you see here, right, the living room. So what the ID actually did was they actually raised this wall here. Reason being, if you watch TV actually a lot of time, right, let's say you want to drink something, then you need to put your stuff somewhere, right? But if I put like a low table here, right, then 就占位. So what the ID actually did is that they raised this up so that if you want to put any drink or whatsoever, right, you turn behind, you put here. Then after you wash finish, you want to drink again, then from here you take again. So it's very convenient. So this was what the ID actually thought of for them as well. And then lastly, the homeowner for this area, right, they didn't want anything that was hard to clean. So when you do ceiling works, normally there's two main kinds. One is a false ceiling, 就是整片盖到完, then you will guide all the cables and whatnot. If not, normally some homeowners might do an L box. L box 就是什么？就是它中间没有东西的，它只是盖 at the peripheral, the perimeter 这样。The difference being false ceiling 它就比较容易 clean compared to L box. L box 因为它是 at the perimeter, there is always the 板 that's up there that you need to clean. So if you want it to be easier to clean, right, false ceiling is the better way compared to L box. We go to the kitchen, okay? So because of feng shui reasons as well, the door previously was quite short over here. So instead, they pushed it out over here, and then so that they could create an additional space for this area as well. So you can see this door was also measured nicely when it opens to fit this wall niche. Because like we mentioned previously, Tengah 有很多洞. So you need to find some way to aesthetically make the 洞 disappear or slide inside seamlessly. So this is one of the ways. Then remember, because they had to extend the wall out, then the ID actually kindly went to find back the same tiles and then placed it for them. So these two are actually new. Okay, so the main thing about this kitchen is the laminate. So the owner actually liked this laminate, but she didn't like the crown. Crown 就是什么？你看you see all these laminates if they are wood related, they will have this thing. 你看这些就是 crown 来的。So some homeowners don't like the crown, but they like the color. So what the ID did was to keep the laminate, but she made the specific effort to tell the carpenter, 你买那个 laminate 的时候啊，那种有大 crown 的哦，你藏在后面。So those with the not so obvious crown, right? Then you put it out down here, so that they can balance between wanting the laminate but then not seeing the crown. So I thought this was a very nice gesture, nice detailed gesture from the ID 啦。Okay, then you see 他们这里有个 brown pipe 对吗？ This is the gas pipe. So the homeowners actually decided to use gas for the entirety of their house. So gas pipes normally is cheaper compared to electrical. This is a given. 你跑 gas 通常比跑 electrical 是更便宜的。But some homeowners don't like gas, 就是 there is some, you know, 爆炸 those kind of things. So some people prefer, maybe gas is not for me, or they prefer to make it simple. Because 如果我没有 gas, 我就不用 pay for gas. 我只是还电费而已 right? But then now you have extra thing to pay. So pros and cons lah, but the owner prefer gas for this. No right, no wrong 啊，这个。Okay, 来。Okay, so this was one of the major remodeling done for the homeowners because of their specific work needs. So they needed 2 study rooms. So you can see behind there's one. And then they actually created one here. The reason why they had to remodel it was because originally the study was supposed to be here. And this door was awkwardly placed at the back. Meaning that in terms of space efficiency, one, your living room now is smaller, but if I move it back, then the living room becomes bigger. 2, 我不用走长路, you know, if I want to enter the room last time, I had to walk here, and then I go in here, right? Instead, now I can walk directly in here. And the beauty of this is because they have an elderly living with them. So the shortest distance to everywhere will be the most optimal way, rather than them having to go here, 吃 1.5 meter 的走廊. Right? But then now by pushing it back, they make everything more efficient and more seamless. And it looks more natural when you look at it. Okay, the toilets. So these were the original condition. They never do anything much except for maybe changing the fan, the window with the ventilation fan, and then the acrylic panel. But the important thing I want to tell you was this. So the owners actually did marble gum for here. And they did epoxy for the bathrooms. The difference being, 这两个 normally is done right if you want to make it easy to clean. So all you functional people, if you want to make it easy to clean, 你不用每天擦那个 grout line, because the dirt always trapped there, it will become grey, it will become black over time. If you want it to be more efficient, 通常你either做 marble gum 还是你做 epoxy 啦。So marble gum 就是它会磨 so the whole thing becomes very, it's like 它没有 grout line 了。Epoxy 它就有 grout line, but 它就是放 an additional layer over it. Marble gum tends to be more expensive 啦，它 living room 应该是大概3000出这样。Then for epoxy for one toilet, it's normally about 1.5. The equivalent for marble gum normally in bathroom less common. But if you want to do epoxy for the living room, marble gum was about 3 to 4 Epoxy will be maybe 2 to 3, somewhere along this line. So epoxy will be slightly cheaper lah, but marble gum's effect, because it ends up being one full horizontal seamless tile, right, is the most beautiful one. Okay, now we enter the master bathroom. You can see the floor, there are tiles. Normal BTOs, it will be vinyl. Reason being it changed to tiles is not because they wanted, but it's because the vinyl that was originally done was not in a good condition and they couldn't afford the time to actually wave. So why was it not done is because 它有 wave 的, meaning vinyl before you lay, you need to do a self-leveling level to make the whole place flat. So that when you walk that time, 你不会有很多声音, it won't be up down lah. But the self-leveling for here was not done well. So in the end, there was a lot of loud echo noises and then it was very unsmooth lah. Okay, 这个 circle basically 就是他做 false ceiling 的时候，他会割 and then 一片一片用那个 metal strip 一片一片 to go one round one to form this circle. In other words, 它是个功夫 spot 来的。Depending on the 功夫 of the ID, right? I mean, the 功夫 of the partition people, right? Your circle might turn out circle or might not turn out very circle. So if you are very particular about all these circle, especially those wabi-sabi, those kind of houses, 你这个一定要注意. When you go site visit at time, right, you need to ask them to show you how their 功夫 is for the circle, and then you see whether you want to use that person or not. This one very, very important. 这个 is really a 功夫 spot. Okay, then if you can see here, this is the next study area. This was one of the ideas that was proposed by the ID that not many actually did. So by having a study here, each of them can have one study area, and this can be changed to a baby cot next time if they have a baby, right? Very elegant. And they had this partition cabinet here. The reason they can add all this stuff is because their master bedroom very big. So they could add this space for their study / baby room. They could add this cabinet for the Mr. and the Mrs. as well as a vanity corner here. Okay, so this is the end of the home tour. It was actually done by Lauren, so it was very well done. The thing that I wanted to specify was because of the feng shui requirements and the attention to detail. That's why a two-way communication between IDs and the homeowners, right, is very important one. Like, it's not only about the ID having to keep asking the homeowner. I think this homeowner also made a lot of effort to present questions, ask them how can this be done, how can that be done. So the two-way communication, especially for a house which requires such practical details, functionality, feng shui requirements, right, is very, very, very important. So, as I always say, right, price is important. You just don't get talk. But it's also important for you to value the chemistry that you have between you and the ID. 不要每次只是 find the cheapest of the cheapest. So, a lot of time this chemistry, like I said, always between 5% delta range, just go for the one that you are more comfortable with. Above that, then maybe you have a deeper thought. But the chemistry 真的是很重要，很重要。Okay, so with that, we end off the home tour for this time. Let us know if you want us to cover anything else, or write in the comments below if you have anything that you want us to say or to share more about. Okay, to the next episode. Okay, bye-bye.